So how good is Fury in triangle strategy? In this video, I'm going to go over the condition Fury, what it does to enemies, what it does to allies, and how it works in general. I'm going to cover the units that use it, and I'm going to give it like an overall, like, yes, it's good or no, it's bad type of like rating. Okay, so here are the units that have Fury, that can put Fury on enemies. Some of them have multiple Furies. So, Groma, however you want to say her name, she has Lure In. This has a 90% chance to Fury. So if we actually go to use this, you can see here it hits up to 4 targets. And if I light wave her in to range of an enemy, she has a 90% chance to Fury, something that is the same level as her. So the way that most conditions work is the chance for it to increase, or the chance for it to occur, or to be successful, increases the higher level you are, and especially the higher level, well, actually, it has to do with the enemy's level and your level. If you are the same level as an enemy, this is what I will refer to as base rate. So like, in the case of a level 50 New Game Plus playthrough, you're going to be only fighting things that are level 50 unless it's on like a mock battle. So this is like her base rate for Fury for this ability is 90%. If she is a lower level than an enemy, it will decrease, and if she's a higher level than an enemy, the success rate will increase. So just something to keep in mind. So let's use Fury. Alright, so it triggered. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run away with her. And I'll put her here. So what Fury does, it generally lasts for 2 turns. The duration is dependent on the ability, so we'll actually go through all the abilities now. So, alright, so for Groma, we just have Lure In, which lasts for 2 turns. For Lionel, he has 2 Furies. He has Ruffle Feathers, which has a 90% base rate success on same level foes, and it can be increased to 100% with an unlock in his weapon upgrades. So, and it's also a ranged ability, so he can Fury at range with 100% success rate, which is really, it's actually very strong. And he can Fury things, then run away, and then the Furied enemy will always chase him. So I'll go into the mechanics in a second. And then he also has, or that's actually it for Fury. He has tempts. He has like tempt with golden opportunity. Okay, so that's his Fury. For Flanagan, he has 1 Fury, shield bash. So we'll actually just have him use this on this guy. So you can fly up to something. Oh, whoops, that's not Flanagan. Here, let's do this. We'll in tandem Flanagan. We'll just pass with Lionel. Alright, so he can fly up to single targets and shield bash them. And you can see here he has a 90% proc rate as well. It can't be increased unless you're a higher level than the enemy. So generally, he's going to have like a pretty consistent Fury on a single target. The big upside of Fury is that the enemy is forced to attack whatever Furied it. So if you are out of range of an enemy, like a melee unit, and it can't hit you, and you Furied that enemy, what it will do is it will try to move to you, but then if there's like other allies in the way, it'll just get stuck on them and it won't attack. So Fury is extremely powerful against enemy melee units. It's also really good at shutting down enemy mages. What it does to enemy mages is it forces them to try to run up to you and whack you with a book or a staff for very low damage, and this prevents them from healing or from casting spells. So Fury is like more or less one of the best shutdown skills or shutdown conditions to use on enemy mages for this reason. And when you have a formation of just like a few units lined up, and you Fury something on the other side of that formation, if they can't hit you and they're Furied by you, they'll just waste their turn. So it's really good shutdown and crowd control. Okay, so now that we understand why it's good, let's also talk about how it affects you. So you can be Furied by some bosses. What happens is whichever unit Furies your allies, they'll be forced to attack that enemy, and then like the AI will take over your unit, essentially. Like the game will take control of your unit and have it attack the boss, and this can put your unit in a bad position. It can expose your unit. It'll still try to go for like backstabs and follow-up attacks and things like this. So it's not the worst thing, but you can remove it with cleansing, through like Gila, cure condition ability or through items that remove Fury or items that remove all conditions. So that's what Fury does to you as the player. Is it a good condition? It's very good. It's actually one of the better ones in the game. When used properly, Fury can completely shut down large groups of enemies easily. And you can see here, like, these two are enraged. And whatever has the last used successful Fury, so if you have multiple things putting Fury, whichever is the last will be the one that takes effect. So, for example, if I provoke on Erador and this triggers, he will now attack Erador. Now, these spear guys might line up attacks that hit multiple things, so you have to be careful. So sometimes you'll Fury an enemy melee unit, and they'll still attack multiple teammates of yours. I think she's the one who put the Fury on this. It's either her or Lionel, so I'm going to have her move over here, and he should be forced to waste a turn. If it is her Fury, so we'll see. And then Lionel will just chill out. And then I'll show Erador. So I showed one of his Furies. So the enemy is forced to chase and pursue. So I just wasted an enemy's turn by moving Gromma over here. So that's like the big upside of Fury, especially with positioning. You can waste a lot of enemy turns by doing this. Okay, so Flanagan will just go. All right, so you saw Provoke on Erador. He also has another ability. It's a 100. So Provoke is 75% success against same level enemies, and then King Shield, 100% chance to Fury everything in range, including bosses that can be Furied. Some bosses are immune, but if they're not, it'll Fury them too. He becomes invincible until the end of his next turn, and also, you know, he just can't get hit. So I'll use that as an example. So this is like the best Fury skill in the game. It forces enemies to attack him. He's invincible while he's attacking. If they hit him in melee, he counterattacks. I said like counter. He counterattacks. But yeah, that's, you know, pretty good ability. Probably the best Fury in the game. Inciting Whispers is also good because you can Fury like mages at range, which is nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Fury. It can't, some other notes about it too, like it can't be broken. So like if you smack an enemy, their Fury won't break. So I can just like smack this for free, and the Fury does not break. So you can nuke enemies and just smack the crap out of them while they're Furied, and they'll just remain Furied. So it can be quite useful. And then also, some enemy mages can clear conditions. So it's something to watch out for. It's usually on like very specific maps. Like in general, they can't. So it's not something you have to worry about too much. And then you can always Fury the enemy like healers to prevent them from cleansing. So, alright, I'm going to have these two guys go. So they're forced to attack Erador. He counterattacks, takes no damage. Forced to attack Erador. Counterattacks, takes no damage. So King Shield is one of the best abilities in the game for tanking and for Fury. But you can see the upside because he's just completely invincible. And he's still invincible until his turn ends, which doesn't really matter. I mean, it does when using Time Child, but that's something for a different video. But yeah, that's Fury. Pretty good ability. You can always do things like this, like Fury some enemies and then kite. And then if you can like have him walk through like a wall of allies, even like mages that would normally be very vulnerable, he can actually prevent and just like completely waste these enemies' turns by forcing them to try to attack him, but then they can't because he's too far away. So that's like the easiest way to abuse AI in this way. So let me see what their move is now. All right, if I put Lionel here, might be able to prevent them from catching him. The crazy thing though is like if you get an ally really far away and you Fury something, it just guaranteed wastes 2 of their turns and they can't do anything about it. So Flanagan here. Let's see. It looks like they can still hit him. So if we had like a unit here and here, they would probably not be able to. But yeah, that's it for Fury. Overall, it's a very strong condition. It's generally on tanks. So like if you look at these units, you have an off-tank Flanagan, who's also really good in the Deathball team comp. You have a main tank Erador, who's just always good. You have an evasion tank Gromma, and then you have a tanky debuffer Lionel. So it's always on like more durable units, which is good because if it was on a unit that couldn't take a hit, it would kind of suck. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Fury. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments. Definitely like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. I'm about to hit 1K subs, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next video.